Hi, and welcome to The Hot Seat with Jacquie Mei, brought to you by Sri Lanka Insurance. Jacquie Mei is a big name in the Sri Lankan fashion industry. She's a former Singaporean supermodel, and if you are in Sri Lanka, if you are interested in fashion and you haven't bumped into this dynamic lady at a function here or there, then, in the words of the famous Brule Silva, who even are you? Yeah, so joining me now, Jacquie Mei, who is the founder of the Model Atelier, in conversation.
Sri Lanka Insurance Motor Plus, driven by you.
Jacquie, thank you so much for joining us today. How have you been?
Been very good. Thank you for having me on your show. Nice to see you after a very long time.
It's been a very long time. And, you know, as I was saying in my introduction, if by now, if you're interested in fashion and you're in Sri Lanka and you don't know who Jacquie Mei is, then who even are you? As the wonderful Brule Silva says. I wanna just go back a little bit in time to when you first arrived here. And there's something that you said in a previous interview that really interested me. And that was because you were flying here back and forth between Singapore and here, sometimes you got a little sunburnt and your manager said, don't get too dark.
Yeah, that was in the 80s, yeah.
And was that something that happened often? Did that occur often where you had to sort of maintain a certain skin tone in order to get work?
Supposedly, but I never did. I enjoyed being out in the sun. I'm a water baby. I like being outdoors. Yeah. So, you know, even though she said that, I still managed to get work no matter what color or what shade I was. At that time, but yeah, no, I wasn't really too worried about it. I was a bit of a rebellious young girl at those days.
I mean, it isn't a conversation that would happen now, would it?
No, not at all. Now we're actually promoting, you know, all the colors that we have in this world, which is fabulous.
So is that something you saw when you first came here and you got involved in the fashion industry? Was there a sort of preference towards lighter skinned models as opposed to the darker skinned models?
When I got back in the early 2000s, yes, they were still, a lot of clients still asking for, you know, fairer models and this and that, but I must say, since Chanel went on the cover of Vogue to represent the darker models of South Asia, since then all that's out the window. And it's really great that you know, models of all colors and all races, ethnic centricity, that's a mouthful, is accepted now, which I think is beautiful because, you know, we are one world and it's great to have the harmony of all different races and colors.
So in the fashion industry, especially these days, you have to be very tuned into social media across all platforms, don't you? Would you agree with that?
Generalization, yes.
I was just interested in how social media influencers, for instance, are affecting your industry, because we have a lot of instances now, don't we, of influencers, people who aren't necessarily tied to an agency like yours, the Model Atelier, who are making a living. And I think, I mean, an organization like yours is kind of cut out in that instance, isn't it? And sort of people who have products to sell are going straight to these people, and they are promoting it. And they're also taking modeling jobs and things like that. And I was just interested to know how that has affected your industry and your work.
Well, social media models, I mean, on Instagram and all that, they're very different to professional models. I find that social media models are also very good. I mean, they have a market for themselves, and I find it's hampered our model industry in some ways, but on the other hand, I find that the clients also know what they want, and they're focused on maybe a celebrity who could endorse their products on social media. But we do have a section for social media Instagrammers, so we've kind of tried to be working that out now, how we can handle them as well. But otherwise, professional models and social media models, the clients, I think, know the difference between the two. I mean, if they're doing a fashion show, we can't get the shorter girls to come in and do a fashion show when they want 5'7" and up. So it's quite obvious that, which way do they go? If they're endorsing like household products and stuff, and they feel that social media influencers are more active in their capability of selling the product, then that's totally understood. Because sometimes not all the models also do commercial work. Some of them like to stick to high fashion. So we have different types of models who do different things. Some like to act, some like to do shows, some like to do photography, some combine all, some really focus on social media. So it's in a way it's opened the market in a way for yes, exactly. So in a way it has kind of dampened us, but in a way it's also opened us into a new area. So we've just got to keep an open mind and how to go with it and embrace it.
It's a constantly evolving industry, your industry, isn't it? And you just have to keep pace. Keeping this whole conversation at the forefront. And you've worked with models for several years now. Is it possible for a model to sustain herself purely by working as a model?
In Sri Lanka, I guess it depends on what type of modeling you're doing. I mean, there's a lot of local commercials and stuff that go on here. So if you want to cover yourself with the local commercials and the local shoots and the fashion shoots, I guess in one way you could, how can I say, make a living, but I still think it's not quite there in the sense of rates like you get globally in Paris or London or in New York. I mean, these models can make a living, but it's a tough industry. It's a very tough industry. Everybody wants to become a model, and everybody thinks, it's so easy. You just get in there, you just stand in front of a camera, and it's not like that at all. A lot of people kind of, when they actually get in front of the camera, suddenly they're intimidated by it, and they don't know what to do. So, yeah.
And they don't know how to present themselves, do they? I've been watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race. I love it. I think it's amazing. And usually every season opens with they have to do like a model shoot. And that just made me so aware of professional models, how much work they have to do, because it's all about knowing how to not just present face, but your body and angles, and they receive some pretty crazy directions sometimes, don't they? So it is actually a lot tougher than it looks.
Yeah, I mean, when people say, "Oh, your models have such an easy job," and I said, "Okay, you get in front of the camera and you see how you do, because a lot of it's like when you're acting, right? It's expression. It's basically, I always say, it's acting in still pictures. You have to kind of portray that just in one shot, right? So, yeah.
Here's something way out of left field. Now, if Gigi Hadid and Naomi Campbell were gladiators, who would you put your bet on to win?
Naomi.
Why?
She's a tough bird, that one. She's been around for many, many years. She knows the tricks of the trade. And you can't fool, people who've been in the business for a very, very long time. So she'd definitely be the one.
Well, there you go. Naomi Campbell is gonna take down Gigi Hadid, millennials. Talk to me about some designers that you admire.
I admire, oh God, there's so many. But one of my favorites, and I'm sure it's a lot of people's favorites, is Michael Kors. The reason being is, I know Dior and Chanel and all these are beautiful. I mean, but I find that I'm not in that caliber to be buying Chanel and Dior and Chanel and Dior. So I'm more realistic in the sense of cost and design. And I find Michael Kors has done a really great all his collections are really great because they're open to all different costs. Prices. He goes from medium price range up to the higher price ranges, and his designs are beautiful. They're very classic. Some of the newer designs that he have, they go with the trend, but he still has the classics that come with it. So there's different areas in Michael Kors which I find is amazing. And you can look amazing in his clothes wherever you are in the world. It covers everything. I mean, there's quite a few other designers out there as well, but I'm just always going to the Michael Kors rack a lot. I like a lot of designers. Locally, I also support the local fashion industry with all the fashion designers here as much as I can. When we had all these events, especially Colombo Fashion Week and AOD and all that, Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, it was really great to see our designers out there and what they've created. And whatever I was seeing on stage, the first thing I did already was start texting in the audience, I like that dress, can you hold it for me? I want to try it on, Yeah. Whoever it was that was showing that night. If I like that, it's, oh, I want that yellow one. Oh, I want that pink one. Oh, can you hold it for me, So, the designers here are amazing as well, and especially with the industry being quite small. It's really beautiful to see what they can create.
I mean, and I get a sense there's a lot of new designers coming up and who are diversifying and really getting their designs out there, which is really encouraging to see. Since we are in these circumstances, and since sort of an awareness for the environment is taking precedence over a lot of things in our lives right now, what is your take on sustainable fashion and fabric making and all that? And what do you predict for the future of it? What are some of the challenges that people using this type of design and fabrics might face in the future? Just your advice and opinions of that would be really useful.
I'm glad that people are now more aware and realize that fashion should be sustainable, because, to be honest, the fashion industry is the number 2 world polluter.
Is that a fact? And how exactly is that? Can you break that down?
I don't want to put our industry down, but a lot of it is fast fashion. Fast fashion meaning every week there's a new trend, that there's possibly an overload of garments, right? What doesn't get sold goes to Africa, right? And then they resell it there, and whatever they don't sell is just in a big landfill pile. And I find that that's something that the fashion industry really needs to think, about how to, get more sustainable in their fabrics. Fabrics are very important. We need to go into the organic side of things, cotton, linen, silks, rather than the polyester type fabrics like nylon, acrylic, polyester, all these kind of fabrics are just broken down in the wash. So little pieces of, it's made of plastic, so it's broken down in the wash and it goes into the wastewater. And then, as you know, right? So plastic is becoming such a pain in our whole environment that it would be really great if, when the fashion scene has become fully sustainable. And they're working on it now, and I think that's great. Even locally they're working on it, which is a really great thing. I mean, we've got one world. We need to look after our world. We live in it I don't know why we're drowning ourselves in it. Why are we destroying our only planet that we live on? You know, we can't exactly go flying out to Mars and go live on Mars or the moon or wherever else you want to go. We can't escape. So we need to save our planet. And sustainability is the way to go. Definitely.
And I mean, so fast fashion is responsible then for a lot of environmental pollution. That's actually something new that I've learned today. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I mean, there are documentaries on YouTube explaining fast fashion and how the industry has been. And it's mainly, you know, big fashion houses, the big, let's say Zara and H&M and these brands. But they're also looking at how to be more sustainable in the future as well. The world has to go that way. We can't just dump everything in Africa. I mean, what's that? We're just offloading our rubbish to another country? I find this is just not on, you know?
It's a very condescending and patronizing tone, isn't it?
It's totally. So I think, you know, we need to rethink. I think it's very, very important. I get sad when I see the environment being destroyed, you know. Sometimes I well up because I feel very sad that us humans are doing it to ourselves.
Yeah, and it doesn't help when politicians around the world kind of say, oh no, ain't no such thing. Nothing's wrong with the environment. We're not in a crisis. If you had to spend the rest of your life on a deserted island, but you could take 3 things with you, what would those 3 things be and why?
Okay, do you want me to be ridiculous or do you want me to be realistic?
I mean, I always favor the ridiculous over the realistic, so go for it.
Well, the ridiculous would probably be mascara, sunblock. That's not ridiculous, that's reality. Sunblock. And sneakers, shoes, right? Reality, water maker, machete, and a fire starter.
Excellent. I have a feeling you'd do really well, whether it was ridiculous or not. So in your career as a model and as a model manager, who are your favorite photographers that you like to work with?
So the photographers I've worked with in Sri Lanka have been amazing. I mean, they're so willing and so easy to work with that I've had so much fun with a lot of them. Just to name a few is Jehan and Dimitri, Kuru, Malika, Jonathan and Ryan, Sias. There are quite a few more out there. Nadoon. Gosh, I keep going, but there's one that really has I miss is Sandum de Silva. I spotted him.
Yes. Where in the world is he?
He got married and he's with his wife in Europe at the moment. But he was quite fun because I discovered him when we did the Ford Supermodel of the World in 2006, 2007, I think we did. And he was working with Bodhi, Darshie's brother. Bodhi Keithria.
Oh, yes, Bodhi Kirtisena.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was working with him, and I thought, who is this young photographer there? And because he kept shooting away and everything, and then he kept showing me his shots and everything, and I was like, well, you don't shoot pictures of models this angle up their noses and up their chins because it's a very, flattering angle. And so from there, he kind of caught interest in what I was saying. And since then, we started working together, and it was quite fun. And now, nowadays, he's Mr. Sandum de Silva now.
Oh, yeah.
And, he's done very well for himself. I think that's really great. And I miss working with him and doing our creative shoots because we have such a history now together on the work that we've done that sometimes we even think alike when it comes to photos and creativity. So I kind of miss that. There are a few guys that I still work with now that have that as well. Maybe not as adamant as Sundon normally is. But the photographers that are here now I work with, I mean, I enjoy them just as much as well. It's great fun working with them and seeing them shoot the models and the results of the pictures that come out. It's just amazing. It's great to see the industry coming up, you know. It takes time. You know, we're not the fashion capital of the world, but, you know, I find Sri Lanka has now made a name for themselves in the fashion industry, and I think that's a great thing.
Great. Now, I heard that your first shoot when you came to Sri Lanka in the 80s was for Angelina bras. Is that correct?
Yes.
And if they came back, Jackie, would you volunteer to wear them again?
That's so funny. Oh, I don't know if they'd want me on the box again. You know, get the younger ones who are better shape now.
Yeah, to have those two pyramids on your chest. I mean, you could really take someone's eye out with that.
It was like the Jean-Paul Gaultier, you know, that Madonna wore, yeah. So I found they were very original.
Sri Lanka did the Madonna bra first, before Madonna even was Madonna.
That's right. So actually, maybe the girls can go and buy them to make a statement piece from them.
We might have to. And finally, what advice would you give to aspiring models who are coming up in the profession and who are working at the moment?
The advice I give, I always tell models to try their best, never say no to a shot, because a lot of them say, oh no, I can't do that. I said, never say no. Always try to get the best shot you can. You know, it's that way. Also, your clients get happy. They're happy with the results because you've made that effort to go out and do it. It's very important to look after yourself as a model as well, from head to toe, as well as inside, right? And also to stay humble. I find sometimes a lot of the models can tend to get a bit carried away and feel that they become the Naomi Campbell, and I'm like, well, yeah, you know, that's nice when you are Naomi Campbell, when you are there, but in the meantime, while you're getting there, don't forget where you started. So always stay humble, I always say, and just make the best of it and believe in yourself. That's the main thing, is if you can believe in yourself, you can go far. And in the modeling career, it's a short time span, so you know you've got to try your best, and you know it's competitive. It's a very competitive scene, so you need to be on your game. And best thing is to just be yourself and enjoy yourself. Have fun. I think that's the most important thing, is to have fun. If you don't have fun in what you do, it shows, right? So I think having fun is number one thing in your job. I think that's in any job you do, right? If you don't enjoy your job.
Absolutely agree. Jacquie Mei, thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I wish you all the best. Everyone at Light also wishes you all the best, and take care and stay safe.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a real pleasure talking to you, Tracy. I haven't seen you in so long. It's so lovely to see you again.
Yeah,
so I've really
it was
enjoyed
lovely
having a
to
chat
get
with you, yes. So wish you all the best. Stay safe.
You too. So if you want to find out more about Jacquie Mei and the amazing work she does, you can visit themodelatelier.com. Thanks for joining us on this week's edition of The Hot Seat, brought to you by Sri Lanka Insurance. Make sure you always check out the Light 87 social media platforms. And if you'd like to see someone on this show, let us know in the comments on any one of our social media platforms. Until next time, take care and stay safe.
Sri Lanka Insurance Motor Plus, driven by you.